Can this be real? Is this clickbait? Well, of course it is. Every video is clickbait because I want you to watch it. But what I'm going to talk about today is the most important part of sync. I think getting songs finished, getting them pitched, and getting them accepted into sync libraries is the most important thing that you could do in sync. So could it be possible that I could get 100 songs placed in sync libraries in May alone in 2025? Well, I'm glad you asked. I haven't put up a video in a few weeks, folks, and you might have to get used to that because I have been busy. A lot of people say they're busy because they have a family, they have a job, they have all sorts of things going on. Maybe you do too. Maybe they have other hobbies. They have different things they have to do. Or maybe they say they're busy because they're just not good at organizing their time. I try not to use that word busy. I have been traveling. I was in Nashville a few weeks ago, have signed, stemmed, and delivered 2 different albums to libraries already, and tracked and did overdubs and trying to get singers now on 14 new songs that are pitching to libraries as we speak. I just pitched to the library an idea yesterday, and that is about 60% finished. And I'm about to finish more, and that's what we're going to go through today. But my friends, that's just the first 2 weeks of this month. And if my calculations are correct, and I will have you check my math in this podcast, but I am going to finish and pitch and likely sign 100 songs in May alone this year. Pish posh, you say. Do you really say that? Utter nonsense. I call Balderdash, you say. Well, say what you want, but in the next few minutes, my friends, I will provide the evidence for my case. And I'm bringing about a dozen songwriters and artists along with me for the ride. Welcome to the Make Music Income Podcast. My name is Eric Copeland, and I've made a full-time living as a music producer, composer, and arranger for over 25 years. In this podcast, I talk about making music income with music licensing, music production, music streaming, music royalties, being a music composer, arranger, producer, or artist, or really any way that I have in the past or currently now or want to make music income. I have free and paid courses and coaching and ebooks for you at makemusicincome.com/free. Make sure to like this podcast if you enjoy the content because it really helps, and subscribe if you're just finding the podcast or channel and want to be part of things every week. I hope all this content helps you make the music you love to make and make music income. Well, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Today's show is extra, as we say in Nashville, extra sponsored by Positive Spin Partners, who will be kind of extra part of all of these songs that are coming out. 80% of the songs that I have going out, they are being produced and getting into libraries, and they all are people who are in my Positive Spin Partners program. As a matter of fact, me and another partner got paid 4 figures plus each up front. That's correct. We got paid up front for some music. It is happening. All of these partners are getting into this, although I'm going to talk about today, all of these partners are going to get into libraries with me today. I did a poll on my site, and I want to take a look at those real quick. The question was, what is the thing you need most to do better in sync? And 39% said better sounding finished songs. And 29% said more or any sync libraries accepting my music. So that's almost 70% of you who need better sounding finished songs and then getting them accepted at libraries. And then I ask another question: how many songs do you finish in a given month? Average, meaning ready to pitch and release. And that poll went a little something like this. 35% said barely any, 51% said 1 to 10, which is pretty cool. And then you can see that only 14% said 10 or more, and only 6% said 25 to 50, which is weird people like me who finished that poll. So that shows you a little bit of what people are wanting. People are wanting help finishing songs, getting them into libraries. And so that is really what we're going to talk about today. Most people are not finishing works. We've talked about this on this channel. You're not making music. You're not finishing music. And so if you're not finishing music, guess what? You're not going to get any music out, and you're not going to get it into libraries. And you're not going to be able to do sync, which is what everybody wants to do. They want to get their music into sync libraries. And so you can't do that if you're not finishing the songs, making the songs in the first place, and then finishing the songs, and then getting them into the libraries. And that's what we do at Positive Spin Songs. That's all that I focus on almost on a daily basis, and mainly with and for partners. Now, I don't expect you to have your music ready exactly, just completely all ready yet. That's what I am for. I've been a music producer for 30 years. I've been helping people produce their music. They would hear my music. They go, love it. Could you produce my music, actually? I'm not a music publisher. I do split the publishing a lot of times with my partners, but as a co-writer and producer, well, I have very high standards. So I can help you get your music there, especially with all of our folks in Nashville, which I was just there, and have at least a dozen libraries that I am pitching to all the time. And more are coming on board all the time. It's like they find me, or I'm recommended to these libraries. So they are personally talking to me on a weekly basis. It's gotten to the point where my weekly updates that I usually send out to my partners, I'm sending those updates out to libraries because there's so much back and forth going on with the people who head up in these libraries. And they are accepting our music, as I'll show you in this podcast. Now, ad out of the way, check out positivespinsongs.com/partners. And let's talk. I only have probably about a dozen to 20 people that I can work with at a time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the libraries are starting to pay me directly for music I create. When that happens, I hate to say this, but I will not have time for many clients. So jump on board when you can. Be part of what's going on here at Positive Spin Songs. So much is happening. Seems like I am pitching new stuff every single day. I have an Excel sheet I could show you that shows you how many libraries I'm pitching to, and I can't even keep up with how many that I am sending out, and so much is happening. But let's get right to the meat of this video today. 100 songs in May. This seems like a joke, right? It's a joke. It can't possibly be true. Well, let's take a look at what's been happening. This is the songs that I've had accepted in libraries since we started this thing, this Positive Spin Songs thing, which was about September, October. And so far, we have 2 albums that just came out recently and that were accepted into a library. Harp in the Heather is a Celtic album. I just finished turning that in the other day to a library. Gunmetal Tension, which was the buyout I was talking about. They bought out the sync on that. Then we own 100%. And this was especially a treat that I could help. I know someone who has been really focused on this. Terry has really been focused on sync, and it's always a pleasure to be able to help other people kind of get to that next level. So we had these 2 have just been accepted, but then in previous months there is another Tension album that Luke and I are doing, and it's already been accepted by BMG. We just have to finish it out, which we are about in the middle of. And then another one that I called Good and Happy. It was called something else. I just heard this on Spotify the other day in the library. And so that's pretty cool that, you know, when you can, not all the libraries put everything on Spotify. BMG is pretty good about it. And so that's cool because you can have people go hear your music. Classical Cello Concerto, which I'm not sure if that one is out yet or not, but that is one that I think we just put that out. Roadhouse Jukebox, this is not out yet. You'll see 1 and 2. This is BMG. They're going to split it into 2 albums, and plus some of the stuff that we just cut in Nashville is going to go onto these records as well. We're still preparing all the stems because it was 13 songs, and now I've got more songs, so these are accepted, but not completely delivered. Strings and Beats, which we did back with various composers and partners. Various cello covers by Alita. We've been doing, you're going to see a lot of her name on here. Pop Country, which was accepted back in January, and I think that was BMG. Jazz Hymnal, which was accepted in December, and we're still finishing that up. They love it. They want us to do a few more. Hallowmas 2, which was my partner Renee, just another Halloween album that I've done, and BMG accepted that. Game Day Beats is mostly sports type, football type stuff, and that was accepted in December as well, and that's out. Celtic Harp Christmas Airs is out. Christmas Cello Concerto. So these two screens are all the things that we've had accepted, and that seems like a lot, right? That's I don't remember the number of songs here. Probably about 150 songs have been accepted since we started. But hang on and get ready, because let's talk about the songs that are going to be accepted, and some have already been accepted in May. The previously mentioned Harp and Heather and Gunmetal Tension. That's 11 songs and 9 songs out. Country 25 Part 1, which I just cut in Nashville, 6 to 8 of those songs is almost approved with the library. The library I basically went to cut it for. And they're also the people who did our Tension album. It was renamed. It's not called that. Country 25 Part 2, this will probably go to BMG with all the other country songs. And then Happy Christmas, I just pitched that yesterday. Now, these have not been accepted. So this Happy Christmas thing is not accepted yet, so I should not be putting that on there. I wrote this up yesterday. So that's a total of 54 songs. Even if you take off Happy Christmas, 44 songs have been accepted in May already. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This is the albums that I am pitching or delivering. They've already been accepted. I got the Jazz Hymnal album. That's 10 songs. The Jukebox Roadhouse is 20 songs. That's different than these two Country 25 albums, because but it will be added. Some of that will be added to this. I have an artist EP with Marty. We are finishing those mixes up this month and going to be pitching. We have a Cello Wedding album that I'm doing with Alita, and I just looked through all the songs yesterday, the 11 songs, and she's even added another one. She's always adding more. She is always sending me new stuff, and so our goal is to finish this album in May and be pitching it, which shouldn't be a problem. I've been through everything so far, and I just need probably a day to finish it up and get her final thumbs up and as a partner. And then once I do, then I'll pitch it. And we've not had any problems getting these cello albums pitched. People really seem to like them. I have a cinematic pop album I'm doing with Wolfgang. That's 10 songs. We're about halfway through that. I have a horror album with Matthias that I think I'm at about theme number 7 now. So I've got 3 more to do on that. And that's just a matter of me mixing it. And once I get past some of this other stuff, then we will have that out in May as well. Then we have a Western cinematic album I'm doing with Eli. This is probably on the border of being done. We're probably about 5 songs in on this. And but he's sending me more. I was just working on this morning, as a matter of fact. It sounded great. And so if we look at this, that's 75 songs by my math. It's a lot of songs. Folks, between this, 75 songs there, and 54 songs there, that's 100 songs that are finishing up this month and being pitched. There's a reason why I'm telling you all this, and it is no joke, but I want to get to why I am doing this. So this video and this podcast is not overly long, as I want to do. Lovely Fishing Rod says, I don't have a single track up for sync licensing deal. Do you have any suggestions for someone who is new to these sync licensing deals? Yeah, work with somebody who can help you get licensing deals. Hint, hint. PositiveSpinSongs.com/partners, my friend, is kind of the point here. I'm not bragging about this, and we'll talk about this in a minute. All of this is due to partners. A lot of it's due to me, obviously, but without people like Wolfgang coming to me and say, hey, I have an album I want to do. Can you help me finish it? Or can we work on it together? Then none of this happens. Oh, really? Says, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I could never write 100 songs in a month. Writing songs means a lot to me. I can't flippantly turn out songs, so to speak. If you were speaking of writing songs. No, I'm not speaking of writing 100 songs in a month. I could probably do it. I'm talking about finishing songs. These aren't songs necessarily that I wrote every line. These are songs that partners either brought to me and we co-wrote them together. All these songs that you just saw on that list, they didn't happen during May. They've been happening for months and months and months. And some of them go back to last year when we started planning them. Some of them for me go back years. I just was talking to an engineer this morning who's sending me stems that I can deliver to a library that was done in 2021. So no, I'm not talking about writing 100 songs in a month. I'm talking about getting 100 songs finished and then pitching and accepted into libraries in 1 month. I'll have more information on exactly how many songs were accepted in May and are now in libraries because of this month. But that's the way it's looking. So let's get into a little bit of this whole thing. And you're probably wondering at this point, what is the point here, Eric? What are you trying to say? And for that, I'll need to go back to my notes. You're probably looking at this video right now and you're going, braggart, just bragging about all that you're getting done. I'm not bragging about me. It's not bragging because all of these albums involve dozens of other co-writers, co-arrangers, co-producers, players, engineers, and yes, the libraries and my contacts there as well. If I just sat here and made only the music I want to make, well, I would be like you. I probably just producing maybe a song or two a day, which 5 days a week times 52 weeks might be around 250 songs a year that I could deliver to libraries. That's still pretty dang good. But with partners, not only who pay me to help produce their stuff into a quality fashion, but they're paying some of the expenses too, I can double that. Now, will I get to 500 songs this year? I don't think so, unless I have a few more months like this, where everything comes to fruition at once, which could happen. But I think certainly we're going to have 200 to 300 songs get into libraries this year. Me and my partners, the Wolfgang's out there, the Matthias out there, all of my partners. You know who you are if you're watching this video. And the reason I'm doing this video and talking about this is to say I have partners coming and going all the time. If you're ready to be a partner, if you're ready to be doing this kind of thing, where we're putting out 75 songs in May, that's not even true. We're actually putting in 54 plus 75 is almost 130 songs. I still think that's going to mean 100 songs in May. And so that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm talking about here, is doing that, is having a month that comes up, and every month won't be like this, but having a month that 100 songs are ready to be pitched and or already accepted and are being pitched now or will be pitched by the end of May. With some of the libraries I have, they get back to me very quickly. This isn't like trying to send a cold email to a library and hope they get back to you in weeks or months or years. I'm in constant conversation with them. I'm in constant communication with them, almost on a daily basis or weekly basis. And so I am doing this. I have the libraries. You and I have the songs. If you are ready, then you need to get in touch. It's just like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I'm offering you a golden ticket, except instead of a chocolate factory, it's a music factory. And not only are you getting songs done, you're getting them into music libraries so that they can be used on television, possibly bringing you buyout money, possibly bringing you upfront money, possibly bringing you PRO money in the future, which is what I'm counting on as part of my refocusment retirement strategy. And by the way, this is a BMI pay week, I believe, on Friday. So we will see what happens with that. But my point of showing you this video, of doing this live, which I barely have time to do videos anymore, and I may have to go to every other week with videos just because of all of these songs that are coming in. I could work from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed and not have everything done. But my point of showing you this video and telling you about this is not to brag. The point is that I'd like to invite you to come with me on this ride. If you're struggling to finish songs, if you're struggling to get libraries to listen to you or even take an email from you or whatever, if you're struggling to get songs into those libraries that you may have already talked to, come with me. I can't sing too much of the song. It's not a scary ride with Gene Wilder, but a fun exciting musical ride to get done what you tuned into this video for. You wanted to see how I'm getting 100 songs done in May. Songs for Sync. Let's go, folks. I want you to really check out Positive Spin Partners. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask them in the comments if you're watching this video and you've looked at it and you're like, wow, can you really help me? Yes, I can really help you. That's what this whole program has been about since I started back full time. I quit my teaching job and I said, you know, I have a few partners who've been developing things with me for Sync, and we're all getting all of these placements and we're getting all of these acceptances into libraries. And so that's when I opened it up on this channel and said, come on, let's go. So go to positivespinsongs.com/partners. Check out the information. Let me know if you like it, you don't like it, and let's talk. I only have a limited number of folks I can work with because, ladies and gentlemen, the libraries are starting to pay me for music. So this is your chance to make music with me, partner, and just be part of getting it done. Get it done. Quit trying to contact libraries with half-baked, half-produced songs, and be part of getting songs into libraries through all my connections and with my production help. That's what I'm here for. And again, I say in the immortal words of Wolverine and Deadpool, let's bleepin' go. So get in touch at Positive Spin Partners. O'Reilly says, you really need a computer to keep up with so many songs, tracking them, payments, the whole 9 yards. Dude, you have no idea how many Excel sheets, how many notes, how many lists that I consult on a daily basis. If I am just preparing myself for the next day or getting up in the morning, well, the very first thing that I do is I look at my to-do list. And if you saw my to-do list, you would be like, that is overwhelming to me. I once told a guy that I work on probably 10 to 20 songs a day, maybe going from one song, work on it for a half hour or a few minutes or an hour or two. And I do that, and I just flip from song to song to song, and I could do, a dozen songs a day. And this is a guy who makes a full-time living in Sync. And he said that would drive me crazy. He has to work on one song a day at a time. And that's just his way. For me, I'm able to do it by tracking everything with lists, with Excel sheets, with my Disco account where I keep all my songs that I'm pitching, and I keep all those pitches there, and I can look at the stats on who is looking at what after I've pitched something. So yes, computer, phone, iPad. I have 4 computers around me at any time. I'm looking at my iPad right now. I'm looking at my computer. My phone is what's taking the video, and then in there I have a laptop that I write all my scripts on, and I write all my emails on, and I do emails here. Yes, many computers needed, many lists needed. I would highly suggest you use the Notes program if you are in Apple, or if you're on another phone, find the note-taking program on there, and just start making notes about different things, about the songs you're working on. Keep a list. And inside the songs you're working on, make a list for each song on what has to be done to it next. This is what I do. This is the only way I can put out 100 songs at a time, is that I am keeping just detailed notes and lists. I am updating and going back and forth with partners all week, every single week, and with my engineers, with my players, with my partners. It's just constant communication. But it's not impossible. You have to be very good at compartmentalizing all of your things. And so that's how I do it. Compartmentalizing everything, making sure that you're putting everything into lists, you're putting everything into Excel sheets and saying, who took these songs? Where are they all going? You got to be very organized for sure. Wolfgang says, Eric, what genres do you need for cooperations albums the most? I would say you and I are working on kind of a cinematic type of kind of ambient pop thing, which is beautiful, by the way. Beautiful stuff that Wolfgang is sending me right now, and then I'm just adding a little bit. This album is a study in not putting in too much, in being very careful that it's not overly produced. And so I am adding whatever you didn't add, but yet I'm not adding a lot. I'm trying not to make it too much because it's going to be some beautiful soundtrack music and stuff. Let's see. I do all styles, as you know, and so it's almost impossible to say something that I don't do. I would say some world music might be cool. Don't have much world music going on. I actually just got 2 Tension albums accepted in the library, so probably not Tension right now. Christmas, it wouldn't be bad to do some very light Christmas stuff that you might hear in Target or in stores. Or in behind commercials. So instrumental Christmas, I think, would be. I pitched a Christmas album yesterday, and so I think it's starting to be time. We're in May now, so I think it's starting to be time for Christmas. So Christmas would be good. Also Halloween, and when I say Halloween, I'm getting ready to start a Halloween. I've already had a call and a request from a library for a Halloween album that is very Halloweeny. Like. Ooh, not scary in a horror type way. I have another horror album coming out right now, and that's a little too scary. I'm talking about light Halloween music that would go behind commercials and things. Probably, you could almost think of it as Halloween dramedy type cues and things like that. That's something that I need because people are asking for it right now. BMG literally wants it right now. So that would, if you want something that is needed now, that's one. Always sports, up-tempo beats type stuff with strings and orchestral stuff, orchestral sports, all that kind of stuff. I think that would be something I'd need for albums that we could work on together. So I hope that's helped a little bit. I'm not sure of the future of what I'm going to be able to do here because of everything I'm doing here. I am going to quit this video and go directly into a mix of something I started this morning that once I get this mix done, that's 5 songs that are done. Usually when I get to 5 songs, I can pitch an album out. So Wolfgang, for instance, once I get the 5th song done, I will probably pitch that to a library we both know because I think they will love it. The other album I was talking about is a Western album I'm working on with Eli. And once I get that 5th song done, I'm going to pitch that album too. That just like the Prison Tension album that Luke and I are working on, it helps a lot to know that a library has already accepted it and will take it, and all we have to do is finish it up and send it in. And so that is another thing that speeds up the process. If you can get 5 songs done, I think it's always better to go with 10. I don't agree with the current thoughts that EPs are what libraries are looking for. I think they still want 10 songs because I've pitched EPs lately and they still want 10 songs most of the time. Oh, really says Halloween, probably just a synth and a pitch bender and a few effects and you could make a Halloween song in half an hour. Maybe, but we've got to think never think like that. Just a synth and a pitch bender and I can make a song in an hour. You can't think like that. You have to think like, what is going to really blow the socks off of a library? It's too competitive for just a synth and a pitch bender. I know you could do that. You can do that for stock, but you can't do that in the sync world anymore. You can't do that in the post-AI world anymore. You've got to orchestrate. You've got to make full sounding tracks. You cannot just, that's why you're not seeing as many videos with me. I'm working in here. I'm working in here on these keyboards, slaving over a hot keyboard all day and working in Logic, producing mixes and creating stems and making final mixes and pitching out to libraries. That's an all-day job now for me. And I can't go in with just a half-baked synth and pitch bender. This is not a dig really in your in your style. I'm just making a point here to make sure that you're making something very quality. That's kind of the hallmark of positive spin songs, is that there's just this high quality level. And they don't get what I'm going to deliver to them that I just cut in Nashville. They don't get that every day. I know another group of guys in Nashville that create great sync stuff. They get it from them. But otherwise, from everybody else, they're not getting top quality Nashville quality stuff or high quality orchestrated stuff. They're getting now they're getting AI created stuff. Are you kidding me? Can't do that. We've got to get up to the next level. We have no time for just a synth and a pitch bender. And again, I'm not digging. I'm just using that as an example. As some people think I can just throw together something real quick and it'll get on TV. Well, that's just not going to be good enough. And that's not the way I operate as a company. That's why there is cost involved sometimes in working with me. There is, but I get things done. And if anything, this should show you that I get things done. 100 songs going out this month in some form or fashion, either already being accepted and stemmed and delivered, or about to be stemmed and delivered, or finishing them up and being pitched this month. And that's the way you do that, is by producing a lot with a lot of people. This is just one last thing I want to say here is make sure that you are not sitting alone in your studio, in your laboratory, that you are working with others, playing with others, and go to makemusicincome.com/free, get some free stuff. And also remember, be part of everything that's going on with our Positive Spin Partners program. It's working. As another Gene Wilder movie clip says, it could work. Not only could it work, folks, it is working. 100 songs this month going out to libraries. I hope you got some valuable information and tips. This is about all I can do this week because, folks, I've got to make music that I love to make with you, hopefully, and I've got to make music income. I woke up to a very nice PayPal morning with a couple different libraries who had sent me money, and including some non-exclusive libraries. And that's what it's all about, making more music to get more music accepted, to get more music that's going to make you music income. All right, everybody, I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching the podcast today and listening to the podcast if you're listening. And I hope you have a great week, and we will see you next time. Thanks very much. Have a good week. Bye-bye.